Hey everyone, welcome to Tathastu-ics. I hope you all are doing good. And I think by now most of you must have heard the news that the Indian government has cancelled the visa service to Canadian nationals. And with this, it has been said that the relationship between the two countries today at this current time is at its lowest point. Okay, so we'll see how the relationship has gone so low, and we'll see this through in this order, in this chronology. First of all, we'll see the news, what is the news and how the events are happening, how one thing is leading to another. Then we'll see how this particular news is connected to the Canadian historical roots, how the organizations which have been set up in 1980s in Canada is influencing today's politics, today's domestic politics of Canada. We'll see this, and then with this domestic politics, how is it impacting the relationship between India and Canada, and we'll see the importance of the relationship between India and Canada from different angles, be it economic angle, energy, geopolitics, students, diaspora, everything. We'll see this from every angle. Then we'll see the challenges which is there. Both the country want to do something good, be it in Indo-Pacific, be it at any global forum, but there are few challenges, and then a way forward, how both these countries can move forward, because India, as we know, with this particular G20 summit, is a giant player at a global level. At least we are presenting now ourselves as a good global player, and we are presenting ourselves as the leader of global South. And Canada, on the other hand, is a very vast, very big country, though the number of the people who are living there is quite less. The population is similar to the population of Telangana, less than 4 crore. But the country, the Canadian country, has been the part of important groupings, be it G7 or other multinational forums. Okay, so we'll see how is this thing happening, and what is the impact which these things could lead to, and what is the importance of India-Canada relationship. Okay, so let's move forward, and the news starts with this person, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He is the leader of Khalistan Tiger Force, and with this, this particular man was killed in a targeted shooting in June this year. Okay, this is September. We are in September month, and September 2023, and in June, 2-3 months ago, he has been shot dead. Now, why is it a headache for us? Because we in India, he's been a most wanted by NIA. Why? Because it has been said that he was involved in the killing of a priest in Jalandhar, and he was also involved in the killing of the people who were associated with Shiv Sena and other political parties. Okay, and that is why a award of 10 lakh rupees has been declared on his head. He अगर कुछ भी होता है तो इसके बारे में बताया जाए, and fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, he has been shot dead. But with this, the snow got rolling, and now it has swelled up so much that the allegations has been from Indian and Canadian sides. Okay, so the allegation by the Canadian PM Justin Trudeau is, he suggested that the Indian government involvement in a Khalistani separatist murder in Canada, and this is the guy Justin Trudeau has been talking about. Actually, on the sidelines of G20 summit, both Prime Minister Modi, it has been said that both, and now it's official that both Prime Minister Modi and Justin Trudeau talked about this particular case. Okay, so Trudeau discussed the issue with PM Narendra Modi, and PM Modi also raised the concerns about the pro-Khalistan elements in Canada. Okay, so there are people in Canada, and that is why, with other than those with the European Union and 18 countries, with every single person, with every single country, we had cordial relationship, and the summit went smoothly. But with Justin Trudeau, there were some instances of strain there. Okay, so that is the reason this particular Hardeep Singh Nijjar issue has been a reason. That is why both the countries were not very much on the cordial terms. Okay. Now, Indian response was, the Ministry of External Affairs said that the Trudeau's allegations are absurd and motivated by the domestic politics. We'll see this. Diplomatic escalations are there. There has been expulsion of diplomats. Canada expelled the Indian diplomat as it investigates India's possible link to Khalistan slaying. And then there has been visa suspensions, and there has been travel advisories, as we have talked about this. Okay. India's response is, India has also asked the Canadians to reduce their numbers of Canadian diplomats in India. Okay, so this has been the issue, what has happened, and how is it been escalating at a very good speed, मतलब इस speed पे तो escalate नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, so this has been escalating like this. So what are the historical roots? As I said that the roots go back to 1982. Okay, so let's go back into the history, the historical roots of the Khalistan movement, and then we'll talk about the relationship in present time, the significance of India-Canada relationship. So the establishment of Khalistan office back in 1982. So 80s was the period when there was this talk about the so-called talk of Khalistan movement, which is almost dead in India. Okay, it's dead in India. These particular talks are there somewhere. Some numbers are there in Canada, in UK, in Northern America, also some parts of Northern America and UK, Europe. People are talking about this, but the number of people who are talking about this are very minimal. Okay, so this particular issue is not that much big, but still we'll go into the historical thing. So the person was Surjan Singh Gill. He founded the Khalistan Government in Exile office in Vancouver. Okay, so Vancouver में इन्होंने ये found किया, and then he issued Khalistan passport and currency, signifying a tangible commitment to the Khalistan cause. Okay, so with 1982, the establishment of the offices of the Khalistan and the passports and the currencies were been there, and openly or silently it has been supported by the authorities or the governments of the Canada back in 1982. Okay, then there has been an impact of Punjab militancy in early 1980s. How? The Punjab militancy in India had consequences in Canada. It gave rise to the organizations supporting Khalistan such as ISFY, Babar Khalsa and World Sikh organizations. Now maybe प्रीलिम्स में या किसी भी एग्जामिनेशन में कुछ ऐसी चीज़ पूछ ले कि ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, UPSC has been asking about the organizations in past, so maybe there's a slight chance, although the topics were very much burning, UPSC stays away from that and UPSC tries to hold the air from the other side, but still just have a look. These are the organizations which have been established in Canada back in 1980s, and those were World Sikh Organization, ISYF and Babar Khalsa. Now this particular Babar Khalsa is one organization which was being responsible for orchestrating one of the deadliest plane attacks. Okay, it resulted in a tragic loss of 331 civilian lives, and it has been called one of the history's deadliest aviation bombing, and that has been done in 1985. Okay, so 1984 was a time when there was Sikh riots in India, and it has been said that it has been done to take the revenge, which has been to take the revenge of this particular Sikh riot. Okay, so these were the things, but how are these historical things? They are not stopping there. They are not, all these developments are not stopping in 1980s in Canada. Okay, the biggest issue, why are we discussing about Khalistan? Because the biggest issue, the biggest hurdle between India and Canadian relationship is that particular issue. Okay, as I've said, though the number is very much less. Okay, but that has been the issue, so we are discussing it, and that this particular historical route has its significance, has its impact in the domestic politics also. Okay, so as per the 2021 Canadian census, Sikh account 2.1% of the Canada's population and are country's fastest growing religious group. Okay, now if you see, there are almost 18 lakh Indians who are residing in Canada. Okay, out of that only 8 lakh are Sikh, and according to Indian estimates, Indian official estimates, not more than 10 to 8,000 people are there who are supporting this particular dreamy idea. Okay, not more than 8 to 10,000, but these 8 to 10,000 people are monetarily very much what do we say कि ये लोग बहुत ज़्यादा ताकतवर हो. Okay, they have the resources in their pocket, they have the money in their pocket, and they are the ones who are managing various Sikh Gurdwaras in Canada, so they are responsible for funding political parties also, and with the funding of political parties, with control on the resources, though the numbers are less, they have their impact, they have their sway over the domestic politics of Canada, this particular Canada, and that is, it has been said that the people who are there, they have hijacked the foreign policy of Justin Trudeau. Okay, so there are particularly three things how is this domestic politics is getting impacted. Number one is appeasing the extremist element. So the Trudeau's accusation against India are perceived as an attempt to pander to the radical Sikh diaspora in Canada, which is very less, as we have seen, but they have resources. Okay. Second is neglecting Indian concerns. So the pro-Khalistani group openly threatens Indian diplomats and glorify violence, exacerbating the tensions. Okay, so there have been instances when these particular groups have been there raising their banners in front of the consulates of Indian consulates. Okay, and there has been political calculation also. The Trudeau shift in the stance is viewed as a response to declining popularity, exploiting decisive issues for domestic political gains. Okay, so as we have already seen, be it the Cold War, be it World War I or II, whenever a leader is in a bad shape at his home, he tries to look away and he wants his people to look away. Okay, see, there is a problem at our border, see, there is something wrong happening somewhere near, and please go there, we need army, we need that nationalistic, jingoistic approach, we need to save our sovereignty. Okay, and we have seen this in history, and that is been said that it has been happening in Canada also. Trudeau has been, the popularity of Justin Trudeau has been on a decline, and he wants people to look away, and this is one of the very good and that particular politics, that particular party has been also reliant on this particular group, so they have to do this thing what is being done. Now we are seeing what is the importance of India-Canada relation. That background, according to me, was important to understand this. And why is that happening? Because maybe the relationship between India and Canada right now is not very closely intertwined. Okay, so it has been on a rise for last couple of years, and specifically from the previous year. If you see the stats, we'll discuss about that. So if you see the statistics from previous year till now, this particular graph is this particular graph line is on a rise. Okay, but still the relationship and the interests are not that intertwined, and there are few challenges also. So number one thing, let's talk about the numbers. Okay, and the things. So the number one thing is if you're talking about the relationship between India and Canada, so in trade and other things, the numbers are not significant, but in terms of geopolitics, it has been considered that India and China, they can contribute into each other's arsenal. Okay, so how? Number one thing is Indo-Pacific region. Now this has been a buzzword for last 4-5 years. Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy designated India as a significant ally in Indo-Pacific. Now what is Indo-Pacific? So this is India. Okay, here is America, here is Africa. So from the shores of Africa to the shores of America, all the water body, Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, and the islands and the nations who are there, they have been considered the part of, it's a geopolitical term given to the countries and the islands who are there between the shores of Africa and America. Okay, this is Indo-Pacific, and the countries, be it America, India, they are wanting that this particular region should be freed from the control of China. Okay, so that is what Canada has been saying. It designates India as a significant ally in Indo-Pacific area, and it recognizes China as an increasingly disruptive global force. Okay, so these particular terms, specifically after what Justin Trudeau has said, it has been considered that why it has been said that whenever you speak at the global forum or at important places, the words you choose matter. Okay, he chose some words which hurt the dignity and which hurt the reputation of India, and India reciprocated, and this will happen. So these particular words have been taken seriously, that Canada consider India a significant ally, Canada consider China a disruptive global force, while categorizing India as a crucial partner with shared values and democracy and pluralism. Okay, so on this front it has been good, although the current government, will see that this is a challenge, that the current government seems that finds itself close with the Communist Party of China. We'll talk about that in challenges, but this was the major plus. Okay, second was economic ties. So India ranks itself as Canada's 35th largest trading partner. Now I've seen in Al Jazeera it has been written 10th largest trading partner. In Indian Express it has been considered 35th largest. but we'll say that they are not even in top 10. Okay, please check this information in two different newspapers. I've checked, they've given different stats. Okay, so India ranks as Canada's, we'll say they're not even in top 10 trading partners, and the trade volume is 9 billion US dollars in 2022. And this particular 9 billion, this number is very bleak, very small. Okay, and this particular 9 billion has been a substantial 57% increase over the previous year. Okay, so in 2021 there was a trade between 4 to 5 billion dollars, and now with the 50% increase, sorry, it has been now with the 50% increase, there has been a change. Over 400 Canadian companies operates in India. So I think the font is quite small, so I'll read the things. If you can't see it, then I'll read the things. Canada is India's 17th largest foreign investor. Canadian pension funds have committed to invest exceeding $55 billion between 2014 to 2020. Okay, although don't get don't get amazed by this particular number, $55 billion, because the amount of foreign direct investment which you are getting from Canada is only 0.5%. Okay, so the trade numbers are less, and our reliance, our foreign direct investment which is coming from Canada is also very much less. Okay, and the number which has been given is Canada, the FDI which we are getting from Canada is 17th largest. Okay, so not that big, which can't be avoided. Okay, both Canada and India are actively working on establishing a comprehensive economic partnership agreement and foreign investment promotion protection agreement. This has been called FIPA. Okay, so for this, for doing these things, they have been trying to do this, but not very much successful in this front also. While talking about energy sector, so back in 2010, India and Canada inked a Nuclear Cooperation Agreement (NCA) and established a joint committee on civil nuclear cooperation. Okay, to do the things. Now there has been this news, this particular thing also. If you talk about the background, so for the first time, when after 1948, in 1948 also, Canada raised its concerns about the Kashmir issue, and it was against India. And after this, in 1998, the Pokhran nuclear test, at this time also Canada criticized India's move that they have tested their nuclear weapons. Okay, they had this nuclear test. Okay, so just a second, how would this go? Okay, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है, शुरू करते हैं. So in 2010, India and Canada inked a Nuclear Cooperation Agreement (NCA) and established a joint committee on civil nuclear cooperation. कि nuclear cooperation के लिए भी काम करेंगे. And during Prime Minister Modi's visit in 2015, a uranium supply agreement was reached. Okay, now uranium, lithium, they are the things which we will discuss in the other classes, but they are considered very much important in today's time. Okay. Now on the science and technology front also, science and technology and space exploration. So Indian Space Research Organization (ISRO) and the Canadian Space Agency (CSA) have entered into a memorandum of understanding to foster the collaboration in exploring and utilizing the outer space. Even the commercial arm of ISRO, which is Antrix, that has been doing the research and that has been launching satellites in the space on the behalf of Canada. Okay, so they are doing the Canadian work, and we know ISRO is very famous for launching satellites at a very minimal cost. There has been actually Elon Musk retweeted this fact that the amount which has been there for launching this moon mission was less than the movie which has been made, and the movie is called Interstellar. Okay, so ISRO is very famous for that thing. On the education front, now the most of the students, and if you see in Canada now, it has been people are going for IELTS and everything, and everybody few years back, and now also there is a majority of people, there is a majority of students who want to just go in Canada and settle down there. Okay, and the primary route to go there on that front is education sector. So if we see India-Canada relationship from the educational prism, so this is a thing which needs to be seen, and the Indian diaspora is also very much related to this education sector. Okay, so since 2018, India has become the leading country of origin for international students studying in Canada. Okay, so और जो भी इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स कनाडा में पढ़ रहे थे, मतलब इन कनाडा इतना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, नाउ इट हैज़ बीन सेड दैट every seventh student which has been studying outside India is in Canada. Okay, so Canada, on that front, Canada is important for us. In 2022, their number rose 47% to nearly 3,20,000 according to accounting for about 40% of the overseas students. Okay, so this number is very big, 3,20,000. This influx has enabled Canadian universities and colleges to offer affordable education and options to their domestic students. Okay, so if the number reduces, this particular thing, this particular grant, or you will say that subsidy which has been given, this will also be affected. Okay, so this is the important point where India and Canada, they interlink. Other than this, there is another point, that is Indian diaspora. Okay, so Canada is the home of one of world's largest Indian diasporas with a population of 1.6 individuals. In another newspaper, I've read 1.8 particular. I don't know this particular, until and unless there has been a data which has been given in Al Jazeera. This particular number was 1.8 millions. Okay, so and this includes the person of origin, PIOs, and the non-resident Indians also. Okay, so it's around 16 to 17 lakhs. Okay, so number goes up and down. So this particular number is very much important. This community comprises 3% of Canada's total population, and the Indian diaspora in Canada has excelled in various sectors, including politics, with 22 members of parliaments of Indian origin currently serving in the House of Commons, which has a total of 338 members. Okay, so I don't think there would be a time कि 33 members हो, and it would be said that 10% of the Canadian parliamentarians are from the Indian origin. Okay, and this particular 22 number is also very big. Even on this particular thing, Canadian Mr. Justin Trudeau, he said something कि we have more Sikhs in our parliament, in our cabinet as a minister than the Prime Minister Modi or the Indian government has in their cabinet. Okay, so there has been this Cold War which has been brewing for a very long time, and now it erupted. Now these are the things on which India and Canada collaborate: Indian diaspora, education sector, energy sector, science and technology, where ISRO and CSA, Canadian Space Agency, they work in tandem. Okay, then there is a collaboration, there is a geopolitical collaboration, they have their similar views about the Indo-Pacific. And then there is economic ties, where there is a trade in small numbers, but still it was on a rise, as we have seen that there has been a 50% rise in trade. So the number is $9 billion, but it has increased 50% from the previous year. Okay, so the trade was going on good. Okay, now what has been the challenge which led to this? So the challenges in relation between the two countries, number one is, as I said, why I gave that much time in the initial slides about the historical roots of the Khalistan. Okay, so all the people who are supporting it is quite less, but the Khalistan separatist factor has been a challenge for a very long time, and it is a very big challenge between the relationships of India and Canada. Okay, so the most significant challenge in India and Canada relations is the presence of Khalistani separatist element. This is a factor that it is there. Canada's policy of balancing Sikh assertions and maintaining relationships with India has created tensions, jeopardized the overall relationship. Okay, we have already talked about this in a great length. Okay, second point is attacks on Indian consulate in Indian diaspora. Now the incident of attacks on non-Sikh Indian diaspora and Indian consulates and temples in Canada have exacerbated the strains in India-Canada relations. Okay, and this has been, as I've said, that people have been there with the flags outside Indian temples and Indian consulates. So that has been an issue, and India has been raising this issue for a very long time. There has been a trade challenge. Now we have our bad relationship with China also. Okay, but we are surviving that bad relationship because economically we are very much intertwined. Okay, but on the other hand, this is not similar factor. The factor is not quite similar with the Canada, because we have some differences here, and we are not very much intertwined. There is structural impediment because the complex labor laws are there between the two countries. The market protectionism and the bureaucratic regulations are there, which have posed significant barrier to the development of the trade relations between the two countries. Okay? So these bureaucratic hurdles have been there. Why? Because the political setup has not been supportive. And why the political setup is not very much supportive? We have seen this historically also, that it started from 1980s and it has been influencing the domestic politics today, and the administration and the politics, they work in tandem, they work hand in hand, and they have not been very much supportive on this. Second challenge is bilateral agreements. Okay, so negotiations on key trade agreements such as the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that has been called CEPA. Okay, and another one is called BIPA, and the name is Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement. Okay, so these two things have been ongoing for an extended period without any significant process. There has been talk that we'll move towards free trade agreement and everything, but let alone free trade agreement, there have been some talks to pass these BIPA and CEPA, and both the countries have not been able to do this particular thing. Third thing is close relationship between China and Canada. So the strong relationship between the current federal government of Canada and the Chinese Communist Party has been noted. Now, only thing which is important, we have seen that FDI is 0.5%. Okay, education economy is also only $9 billion. The trade between the two countries, but the Indian diaspora which has been there, which is the students who are studying, that is an important point. And geopolitically, Canada is a strong country and they support India in Indo-Pacific, and they see China as a disturbing factor. But with this particular development, that they see China, that if they are lenient with the China, then the one or two single points which have been there, which has been making Indian-Canadian relationship quite stronger, if that is also is not there, so there has been ample amount of reasons for India and Canadian government also to take strict steps against each other. Okay. So what should be the way forward? Solution kya hai? We have discussed the problem, we have discussed the situation, we have discussed the present situation, we have discussed how this present situation has been linked to the historical thing, but what is the way forward? Aage kya kare? So lately the Indian government has been successfully or unsuccessfully communicated to the Canada that maintaining positive relations with India while tolerating anti-India separatist activists on Indian territory is not feasible. Okay, so for a very long time, India has been communicating for last 8-10 years. India has been communicating this, that we have a zero tolerance policy on terrorism, and the terrorism and talk, they can't work in tandem. Okay, they can't go hand in hand. And be it Pakistan, be it Canada, be it any country, if there has been a movement, there has been some significant things regarding to terrorism and this separatism, then India is not ready to accept it, and India will not allow you to walk that tightrope where you are talking about you are supporting these extremist people also, and then you're talking trade also with India or any other thing. Okay. Second is constructive and sustainable engagement. So this is the thing. Now what should be done? One is and that this is a very sadabahar evergreen solution which you can give in your answers. Please note down these particular things. Okay, if you're writing some governance answers. Okay, so while writing those answers, mention that there are 3 A's. Okay, if you're not getting anything, then the whole of the governance revolves around A3: affordability, accountability, accessibility. Okay, similarly, find out these particular keywords and these particular things to achieve in this particular order. Okay, A या कुछ इस तरह की चीजें. तो उसी तरीके से what should be done? So this is the thing, this is a sadabahar evergreen thing. Constructive and sustained engagement should be there. India must establish a positive and ongoing relationship with Sikh diaspora, counter the false narrative. So people who have been living outside India, they should develop a good relationship. We have a good relationship, we don't need to develop that, but we have to show the world, specifically Canada, that the whole clamor which has been there that there is a particular faction which is not supportive to India, and India is targeting and killing people who are there and who are talking these rubbish things. So we need to show that this particular number is very less and we don't care. There has been people who are very much nationalist, who are there, who are supporting India and India's idea. So we have to show to the world and to the Canada that our relation with the Sikh diaspora is very much strong. First thing we can do that, and then counter the false narrative spread by Khalistani separatists and highlight the prevailing sense of containment in the Punjab. Okay, Punjab is flourishing with green revolution and everything. People who are there are very they are well off. Okay, Punjabi industry, be it music industry, be it film industry. Now this has not been a case with any other regional cinema, any other music cinema. Maybe Marathi movies and Marathi music is there, or some Tamil Nadu movies, or the music or the culture of Tamil Nadu is there. In South India you'll see that, but in North India above Maharashtra you won't see this particular thing. There is a region which is very much self-sustained, which is very much happy, and they have largely people have their thing, and they have their resources, and they have the say in the government and the administration and the society also. Okay, so we need to show that the people who are living in Punjab and the Sikh diaspora, which is the people who are living outside India, Sikh people outside India, they both of them are very much happy. Okay, so constructive and sustained engagement with these particular two groups. And the second thing is civil society and track to diplomacy. Now this track to diplomacy has been a buzzword, and you can use this in your answers. So India and Canada should actively promote the civil society organizations and track to diplomacy initiatives, which are, these are not very much formal, to cultivate connections among the people and facilitate dialogue and support conflict resolution, resolving endeavors. Okay, so these are the two things, and this is the whole issue we talked about in length, as much as we can talk about India-Canada relationship, starting from the this particular event, starting from the news which has been there. Then we covered the historical background, and then we tried to see everything which can be covered, and we'll see how the relationship between the two countries will move forward. But this is the thing, and we should not celebrate it कि ऐसा कर दिया, किसी एक country ने ऐसे कर दिया तो इंडिया ने ऐसे reply किया. In global politics, the countries, this is a period of globalization, and the countries need each other. Canada, maybe the number of people who are living, as I've already said, people who are living there are less, but the number of Indian diaspora who's been there is quite, numbers are quite great. Okay, every 7th student has been studying in Canada, and there are almost 17 to 18 lakh people who are residing there. So there are things which Canada needs from us, there are things which India needs from Canada. So if both the countries can work in tandem, if both the countries can avoid this particular Khalistan issue and they can work, then that would be good for both the countries. But for our UPSC answer, for our mains answer, we have discussed it from different viewpoints. We'll meet in another class with different topic. Till then, take care, bye bye, and see you soon.